Hello my dear students, so this is lecture number 9. We have completed up to lecture number 8 of principles of management, right? So we have gone through unity of direction in lecture number 8. Now we will go through the next principle, that is principle number 6, subordination of individual interest to general interest. What does it mean, student? The interest of an organization should take priority over the interest of any one individual employee. If a particular individual employee is there in the organization, his interest should be less than the organization's interest as a whole. Just take the example, the company works with an objective to be fair while giving salaries to his employees. The company do not bifurcate that you are black employee, you are white employee, you are this religion, you are that, you have this qualification, you are that. It is providing the same remuneration to the different levels. Suppose all the managers will get a pay of 50,000 per month, so nobody will get more than that, nobody will get less than that. So when the company is working with an objective to be fair while giving the salaries to the employees, one of the manager who is valuable for the business may demand for much higher salary. Some person, when he will think that yes, I am valuable for the organization, I should demand more salary. So it will harm the interest of all other employees. All other employees will think that yes, this particular person is very much efficient, that's why he is getting this amount of salary, but we cannot get that. So it will harm the interest of all other employees. So every company should follow the policy related to the discipline, salary structure, performance appraisals, so that the individual interest do not supersede the interest of entire organization. Always the entire organization should have more priority than any individual of the organization, right? This is subordination of individual interest to general interest. Number 7 principle is remuneration of employees. What does it mean? It states that organization should treat all the employees equal and fair in terms of compensation. While giving the compensation to different employees, growth to different employees, the organization should keep in mind that there should be an equal and fair distribution of salary. The wages paid to the employees should ensure a reasonable standard of living. The company should have the paying capacity to pay the wages and salaries to employees. The wages should be just and equitable. That means equal for all. Just take the example, a company who is paying fair and competitive wages to its employees should always have a satisfied and motivated staff. If a company is paying good amount, the desired amount to every individual, to employees, then what they will do? They will remain satisfied. If the employees are satisfied, then the productivity can be reached automatically, na? When you are satisfied to do a particular thing, you are ready to do anything. Now the relationship between the management and staff should be good enough, should be well enough, so that the working in the overall organization becomes smooth, right? So this is remuneration of employees, the 7th point. We will move towards the 8th point, that is centralization and decentralization. What does it mean? Centralization means the concentration of the decision making authority, and decentralization means dispersal of decision making authority among more than one person. Centralization means concentration of decision making authority, that should be in a particular center. One authority will be there who will take the decisions. Decentralization means dispersal of decision making authority. See students, when a person is taking a particular decision, that is centralization, and when the person is dividing the work into particular divisions or departments, that in each department one will be responsible person who will take the decision, that is known as the decentralization or division, right? So the authority to take core decisions here, the core decisions, this principle states that the authority to take core decisions should be retained by top level management. That I have already said earlier in earlier lectures in the first chapter itself. And the authority to take routine or day-to-day business decision. For day-to-day business decision, that should be delegated to middle level management and lower level. Okay. Now the degree of decentralization, how much division to be done, that should be depending upon the scale of operations. Is it a big organization or a small organization or medium size? That will depend. But the topmost authority will take the core decisions of the organization, and the routine day-to-day work, how much sales to be done, how much production to be done, how much raw materials to be purchased to make the production, to manufacture the goods, these things to be done by the lower levels or middle level. For example, in Reliance, you know the name of the Reliance industry. In Reliance, the decentralization will be more as compared to a small trading company. A small trading company ABC is there. Okay, and Reliance is a giant company. So the level of decentralization will be more in Reliance and less in ABC, because there are several operations in Reliance that has to be done. There are different operations that has to be done. Yes students, now we have completed the centralization and decentralization part. Now we will come towards scalar chain. Scalar chain, the next principle of Henry Fayol. What does it mean? The organization should have a chain of authority and communication. The organization should have a chain of authority and communication that will run from top to bottom, and that should be followed by the managers and the subordinates. What does it mean? The formal line of authority that is flowing from the highest to the lowest rank is known as scalar chain. It consists of that the organization will consist of superiors, that is the top levels, and subordinates. Superior will give the instruction and subordinate will follow it. It may be for the organization as a whole, or maybe to the middle level, maybe to the lower level. So each level should consist of superiors and subordinates. Now the chain of authority should be followed during normal course of communication itself. Now you are telling that, suppose I have an emergency, there is a production manager and sales manager. Under production manager there are several workers. Under sales manager there are several workers. Now every time if these workers has to first consult with production manager for small to small things, then the production manager will just go to the sales manager for transferring the ideas of the worker. Again, sales managers will tell this will be a huge process, right? So if this person wants to communicate with this person here, what to do? It can be done in case of emergency only. This chain of authority can be violated in emergency. That is known as gangplank. So what is called gangplank? It is very much important. It is the shorter route that should be provided to the subordinates. The subordinates can contact with other group subordinates for communication purpose only in case of emergency. That will eliminate the delays in communication. So while communication, if there is delay, how do the work will be carried out effectively, right? That's why. So just take the example, each and every company follows the hierarchy. Hierarchy means A, top level, B, C. So this is the hierarchy of management. Every organization has to follow. The owner of the company may interact with heads of the departments to brief them about the organization, goal, target, plan, policies. But the head of the department should further instruct and direct the supervisors, and supervisors will finally instruct the workforce. This should be the case. Okay. So this is point number 9. Now let's go towards point number 10. That is order. This is another principle, that is order. So according to the Fayol, people and materials must be in suitable places at appropriate time for maximum efficiency. Both the people and material, that is raw materials, people means workforce, employees, should be at suitable places, right places, at right time to achieve maximum efficiency. The principle of order states that a place for everything and everyone in his or her place. It means that there should be assigned place for all the physical resources and all the human resources, and they should be at their assigned places. The order should not be broken, and it will remove the hindrances while conducting the activities. Everybody should know his or her place, because in office if you go, you will see that everybody has assigned places. So that should be followed. Okay students, so this is up to this you just at first complete. So this is lecture number 9 we have completed, and after this we will go towards lecture number 10. Okay, next lecture 10 of principles of management. Complete 7, then 8, then 9, then come towards 10. We will move towards the next principle.